Oh, you f***. Hi there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So in today's episode I'm currently manoeuvring the Capri into a slightly better position in the garage so that I can get access to the passenger's front wheel, and the reason being is that I suspect that we've got a problem with its brake. So I've noticed that when we've gone out to the last car meet that we went to in this, that the steering is being hampered. When I'm sort of going to hold in the steering wheel but sort of loose in my hands, it's pulling quite violently to the left, and then it's wanting to shoot right when I'm applying the brake. Now I suspect the reason it's doing this is that because I've got a sticking brake caliper, but I'm not entirely sure at the moment. So we'll just get the car parked into the garage where I can get better access to that side, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we can identify what the problem is and hopefully get it fixed. Right. Are you all right there, little man? He's sort of lurking in the back. That's better. Right, Reg, we've got to get out now. Got the undignified routine now of getting out of the passenger side because I can't get out of here.
I can. Are you stuck?
Now the reason why I suspect that this is the problematic brake is because after I got back home, after the car meet that this last went to,
Yeah.
I touched all four wheels, and this one was red hot when the other three were still cold. And I suspect that when I get this wheel off and have a look on the back of it, there's going to be a load of carbon build-up, and sure enough there is. We've only got to look at the back wheel to determine that this is definitely the one with the faulty brake. Just look at how black the inside of this is. Jesus Christ. And the other telltale sign, of course, is probably going to be that this won't move. Oh. Yeah, it's very stiff. I mean, it should have some friction against the pads, but not that much. It's definitely sticking, so yeah, we need to have a look at this and find out what's happening. So looking at the disc itself, it looks like it's in a pretty decent shape. And also as well, looking at the thickness of both pads either side of that disc, everything's looking all right. So this doesn't appear as if it's been sticking for long, so that's a good sign. I've just got to work out how I've got to get this caliper off. Right, so the first thing we need to sort is where the pipe connects to the suspension strut. So you've got the flexible hose here, and then you've got this solid pipe here, and what I don't want to do is damage or kink the solid pipe. So the first thing I think we need to do is somehow push this out of the little eye that's connected to this strut. Right, so just putting a 17mm onto this nut here. I don't know if it's going to make it slightly looser so I can pull it out of the eye. Do I need to put one below it as well? I don't know if this is going to work. It's just twisting that, I think. So we're going to put a 15 on the bottom there, 17 on the top. Alright, there we go. There we go. So with that out of the eye now, when we get this caliper off of the disc, it means I can suspend it up in the air, and then it's not putting strain on this metal pipe. Reggie on his little scooter. Right, so looking at the back of the caliper, it looks to me that we've got one bolt here and one bolt up at the top that connects the caliper to the bottom of this suspension strut. Certainly get them out in order to get this caliper off.
My bag is put way down there.
Oh yeah, I can see, pal. Yeah, good job. So this one's a 19mm. And this one also a 19mm. And this retainer thing comes off with it. Oh, there we go. Caliper's off. I don't want it to fall and put strain on this metal pipe, so we're going to just hold that there for the minute. Also notice as well something that I've never come across before is that this particular caliper looks as if it's got two pistons. It's got one here and then another one there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to see if I can get these pads out. We'll try and then compress both pistons back into the calipers, press them that way, put the pads back, get it back onto the disc and see if the brakes are any better. Just wondering how do they push out them rods? Ah, okay. There's a little retaining pin.
That thing.
Not that, it's like a little pin. Just in here, look, here we go. This little retaining pin. That. Now will that move now? Yeah!
Can you bang it out?
I might have to. Don't drop the caliper. Now the rod's coming out. There we go. Another retaining pin on the other one. It's there, look. Come on you, out you come. There we go. There's another one. Nearly there. And now we should be able to get the pads out.
Pads out?
Yeah.
What's the pads?
Pad? That's that thing. There's that as well. We've got this one here too. Oh, that's one. There we go. Right, so that's the pads out. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I can hopefully get my G-clamp into this, and we'll see if we can push the pistons that way and that way. See if we can compress them a little bit. If we can't compress them, then it means that this caliper's knackered. So here's the G-clamp. So we'll see first of all if we can. Mind you, is that gonna? Oh wait. Oh, I don't think that's gonna work, is it?
No, not gonna work. I think you need to use a hammer.
I think I need to use a hammer. I need something shallow so that I can make contact. Right, so I've got a shallow socket which I'm just going to put into the piston like that. So you can see that threaded end of the G-clamp is up against the side of the caliper. Then that end has got the socket inside the piston, so I'm now just twisting the threaded end in the hope that this is going to compress the piston. I think it's gone in as far as it can. And now we'll put the socket into this piston and do the same on the opposite side. I don't think it's going anymore. I don't know if that's going to be any better. It don't look to me. Well, we'll put the pads back, see if we can get it over the disc.
You have to clean your hands and then I will give you a cuddle.
Okay. Right, so we've got the first pad here. I've got this sort of metal plate thing that just needs to line up with the holes, and then shove it through the underside of the caliper like so. What we need to try and do, each of these two sort of aligning rods, we need to push them through all the corresponding holes. Do the plate first like that, and then the pad. Second one, again with one of these metal plates. Through this side, bit of a love tap. Same with that one. Now we need to try to position the pads up against the piston. And then we've got these little retaining pins. So it's probably a bit tricky to make out, but with these two rods there's a little pinhole just there, and then on that one there's another one there, and that's where these little retaining pins go. Push in through like that, and then the second retaining pin. And next we'll see if we can get this back over the disc. Right, so what I've got here is a couple of washers. Now, what I didn't realise at the time when I took the bolts out that held the caliper to the bottom of the suspension strut, they actually fell out in that gap just there. So when it comes to putting these washers back, they need to sort of sit in that gap as I put the bolt through this hole here. It's got this little retainer which sits in there like that, and we'll put the top bolt through. Go on, in you go. And then this washer here has got to go sort of in the gap behind the bolt. I've got to try and fit this washer behind it as well. Through. Right, those two are on. Question is, will the disc spin a bit easier? Let's see if I can reach the pedal from in here. That's better, that's a firmer pedal now. Oh, nah, that's stiff as that is. There's definitely something wrong with this caliper. It's knackered. Oh well, not to worry. I didn't think it would work, but it is what it is. Right, new day, back on the car. Now, a couple of my mates have given me some suggestions on some things that I can try with this. So one of them is we give the pistons a bit of a clean up. So as you can see, I've got the caliper back off the disc again. So they suggest that what I should do, get the pads back out so that the pistons are fully exposed, pump the brake pedal to get the pistons to come completely out, give them a bit of a clean up, push them back, pump the pedal again, give them a clean up, push them back, and just repeat the process over and over to see if the pistons are freely moving. So let's get these pads out and then we'll give that a try. Position it like so, and then we'll give the brake pedal a bit of a pump, see what happens. I don't know if that's normal or whether or not they both should be pushing out. I would have expected both of them to have pushed out, to be honest. Let's see if I can push that one back. Let's just hope I can get this G-clamp to actually fit in. It's going to be a bit tight. Ooh, just. So one of the other suggestions is that there could be some challenges with the brake fluid not going back when the brake pedal's been released. So that might be why the piston could be a bit stiff in moving. So we're going to crack this brake bleed nipple, just so if there's any vacuum pressure or any releasing of the fluid that needs to happen, can then happen, because it obviously can come out the bleed nipple, and then we'll try and push the piston back. So the first thing we need to do is take off the dust cover, and then we put an 11mm socket onto there. Oh, now I don't know if this needs to be undone much more. We'll try that first. Let's see if we can get this piston to go back. I really don't want... Well, the fluid is seeping out there, look, you can see. Oh, that should not be as tight as that. No way. Oh, this is definitely no good. Let's do this bleed nipple back up. Put the dust cover back on. Right, I'm fairly certain that this caliper has definitely seized up and has had it, because I'm pretty certain that this piston here should be coming out when I'm pressing the brake pedal, same as that one. The fact that it's not is obviously a bad sign, and the fact that I also cannot push this one back is also saying to me that there's definitely something wrong on both sides. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to need a new caliper. Right, another new day and another new parcel. Nice and shiny. Right, so on the new caliper we've got this blue plug. We'll take that out. It exposes the brake pipe hole just in there. So what I need to do with the old caliper, we've got just down there, we've got this nut that we need to loosen for this brake pipe. And the key, of course, with this is going to be, we've got to be quick. So we're going to loosen this one, take this pipe out, and then quickly shove it into this hole without hopefully losing too much brake fluid. So it's an 11mm spanner that we need on this nut. Let's see how easy it is to come off. Not very. I might put this caliper back on the hub just so that it's got purchase actually. Just the one bolt from there should suffice. Screw that back on. Right, so I've just secured the caliper back onto the hub using this bolt so that it's got some proper purchase. So now hopefully we can unscrew this little bolt here holding this pipe. There we go. So once it's loose enough, we can take it back off the hub again. Fluid's starting to come out now. So if we take that back off. There's one. Onto the new one. Shove straight on like that. This is being a bit awkward. I wonder whether to put this on the hub. Off. Oh, you it's a wrong one. That gap there is far smaller than the gap here. So this caliper, as you can see, doesn't fit over the disc. No, I'm putting this back. Cannot believe what's happened here. This is so... Hang on a minute. Looks to me like this bit here, it's like a piece that goes in between these two halves. Well, I mean, this caliper's knackered anyway, so is it worth me seeing if we can undo the bolts at the back? There's two there either side of that bleed nipple, and then another two there. Is it worth taking them apart and seeing if we can put those in the new one? Right, so I'm just putting the old caliper back on again, just so that I've got decent purchase to get these bolts off. Let's see if we can put a second one in as well. It'll have to be tight, just then it's going to minimise the amount of movement. Try the outer ones first, and these are 14mm. There's one. Oop, sorry camera. Go on. That's another one out. And then the inner ones appear to be 16mm. There we go. Never undone a caliper before, so I'm expecting a mess. That's one out. There we go. Right. Oh. Okay. Space has come out there, look. That's the last one. And the caliper comes apart, look. Well, certainly that bit does anyway, because obviously this bit's still bolted on. But look, I've got a couple of spaces here. So I'm just wondering if I take apart the new one and see if these will go in. If they do, we might clear the disc. Get those off. Well, I have to say I was expecting a lot more mess than that, but I've got these two spacers off nonetheless. Let's see if we can take this one apart and fit them on. We love the British summer at the minute. It's been fantastic. Right, outer ones first, which is a 14. Don't know how easy these are going to undo. Can't put the same purchase on it as the other one because I can't fit it to the car. I've got it. Yeah. Come on. There we go. Inner ones now being 16s. Could really do with a vice. Crikey. Right, let's get out the big gun then. Yeah, that worked. As did that. That was nice and easy. Right. Question is, well, it happened before I got a chance to ask it. Would they separate? Yes, they do. I guess the next question is, do the spacers fit? Tell you what, it's looking promising. That's looking good. Do you know what? I reckon this is going to work. Right, so as you can see, look, these spacers appear to line up. So I think what, obviously because we're going to be putting in these spacers, we're going to probably find that we're going to need to replace the new bolts that we've just took out and put the old ones in from the old caliper, because they are of course going to be slightly longer to compensate for the size of the spacer. So we'll put the two halves together with the spacers inside and then we'll see if we can fit these bolts. Hopefully they'll go on. So looking at the spacer with the brake line going through, that little rubber grommet is in the centre. There is one here as well. Just need to ensure they line up properly as well. We'd hate for any fluid to not pass through to either side. Let's just hope everything lines up nicely. So we'll take the longer of the 16mm bolts to start with. Let's see if it goes through. The second one lined up as well. Put the 14mm ones in as well. Right, now we've got those in, we just tighten everything up. So have we now managed to put together a caliper for a vented disc? I guess there's only one way to find out. Wow, they look to be lining up. It's obviously going over the disc. It's looking somewhat more promising. I'm not going to jump too quickly to cheering because there's obviously other bits, including these rods and of course getting the pads back. So let's see if we can get them in. Right, let's see if it goes on. Right, this is going to be interesting, trying to manhandle all this. We've got this sort of retainer thing. I've got these two bolts here. We've got to put through that. So we'll put those two through first like that. Then we've got to hold this here. And then we've got the new caliper with the pads fitted. Let's see if it goes over the disc. It's looking good. And get this, put that through the two holes like so. And then we've got these two sort of washer spacer things that I've got to slot into this gap here. So this is going to be a bit fiddly, trying to get everything in and lined up. Drop that in there. Let's see if I can get that bolt to go through as well. We got one. Where's the other one? I think I might have got it. 19mm. And the second one. Right, that's attached. Next thing we need to do is to connect the brake line. So we've got this blue plug thing holding that in. Get that out. Now we've got to try to reconnect the brake line, which is in this bottle. Slot that into there. It's looking good. 11mm spanner, just to tighten it up. Just hold that pipe steady, we don't want it kinking. There we go. Just make sure that's not dripping all over the floor. It's looking all right. Fantastic. Right, that's those two done. Brake line fitted. Better bleed the system. There's obviously a fair bit collected in that bottle, as you can see, and that's why it's dropped just under the minimum level. So we'll top some up now. Good old .4 to go in. They just filter through the system. We'll keep the cap off as well. Make sure there's no vacuum trapped. Right, so the next task is to bleed the air out the braking system of the car. Now, I don't actually have a proper brake bleeding kit as such, but what I'm going to do is use a contraption that I made and that I used on a couple of the other cars, and it's this piece of fantastic gadgetry. It's the squeezy end of an old spray bottle and a bit of pipe, and what we'll do is we're going to stick this end of the pipe over the bleed nipple on the new caliper and simply squeeze the trigger at this end, and what that will do is have the same effect as pumping the brake pedal, and hopefully it should pump any air bubbles that are trapped. Right, what we'll do first is remove the dust cover off of the brake bleed nipple, like so. Then get a 10mm spanner, just crack the nipple, like so, and then stick the pipe over the end, make sure it's got a nice tight fit. Okay, so with that connected to the bleed nipple at the back of the caliper, we'll just grab our bucket, and whilst we keep the tabs on the minimum level of brake fluid in the bottle, we'll grab our spray gun, start spraying. So obviously, as this is a brand new caliper, there's going to be a lot of air stuck in the system, so it's going to need a bit of work. Here we go, look, here come the bubbles. Look at them go. I might give the brake pedal a pump, just as if I can see if I can get the fluid to just run through a bit faster. And that's obviously going to start to close up the pads against the disc. Heard some noises then. What's that done? Ah, okay, now look, we're getting brake fluids starting to come through now. That's a good sign. I'll pump the pedal a bit more. Don't know how easy it is to see that, but look, it's nearly all fluid. I think we've cracked this. So I think what we'll do now is we'll get the spanner and we'll nip this back up, like so. Take the pipe off, like that. So we just need to continue putting in some pumping action so that we can put the brake pads up against the disc. Excellent. So the pad's now nicely up against the desk. Fabulous. So as you can see, the fluid's dropped to the minimum level again, so we're going to top that up now. Let that go down. Yeah, looking good. Fantastic. Right, so we put back the dust cover for the bleed nipple. So the next thing that we're doing is we're putting the brake pipe connection back into the eye slot that's located behind the suspension strut. Right, pull that down and slot it into there like that. Fantastic. Alright, that's in. Just now need to get the wheel on. Job done. Let's go for a drive. Right, we've got the undignified task now of getting into the driver's seat in this way because the car is currently pressed up against this wall, so it's a bit awkward. Right, okay, let's give this thing a quick run out and see what it's like. Right, so whilst we are having a quick run out in the car, we thought we'd just pass on some thanks before, of course, we end the video. So firstly, I want to say, of course, albeit we've had to manipulate the part, I've still got to say a thanks to Advantage Auto Parts for sorting out the caliper. It was advertised as being one for a 2.8 injection, and it, of course, as you've seen, it didn't fit. We had to put them spacers in from the old caliper, but ultimately we've got it fitted, and judging by the brakes, putting them down, everything's looking good for the early stage. I also want to pass on a quick thanks to the people that got in touch with me when I put up the my Facebook post when I was mentioning that the car had obviously run into a bit of trouble whilst I was trying to put this caliper on. To everyone that got in touch, to Craig Adamson in particularly, who gave me the idea about the spacers in the first place and made me have a look to see if it was possible to take them off of the old caliper and put them onto the new one. And of course, it looks, touch wood, certainly it's fitted. And I want to say a huge thank you, Craig, for giving us that piece of advice, mate. That's really, it seems to, at the minute, have really benefited us. So massive thank you for that. Right, okay, so if you did like this video, do give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it thumbs down. Any comments you want to put forward will, of course, be greatly appreciated. If you would like to get in touch with me directly, or if you would like to check out our other social media platform that we have, details of all of those are in the description below, so just have a check of that. And of course, if you would like to give myself and Reggie, who's at home at the moment, some support with our channel, then just hit the subscribe button at the end of the video. We'd really appreciate all the subscriptions, of course, that you guys give to us. It goes a long way in helping us out, so if you'd like to do that, we'd really appreciate it. Right, we're just coming up to the roundabout at the end of our road. Brakes are applying and appear to be good. There's no sponginess to the pedal, and everything is looking pretty promising. Now, there is unfortunately a little bit of a bittersweetness to this, because the reason why I was desperately trying to get this car fixed in time was for a car meet that was due to take place tomorrow morning, but sadly, due to the amazing British summer that we have had up to now, unfortunately the meet has been cancelled because the field which the cars were due to be parking on is just too wet, it's too dangerous. So unfortunately we're obviously not able to go to that particular meet tomorrow, which I'm a bit disappointed about because I was really looking forward to going. But I guess I've got to look at things positively, because so far at this point in time anyway, looks like we've got a working Capri, which I'm really pleased about. So until next time anyway then, guys, thank you so much for tuning in and giving us your continued support as ever, and we shall see you very soon in the next episode. Take care of yourselves. Cheers now. Bye bye. Let's give this one a harder brake. Here we go. Yeah, fantastic. I remember the last time I did that, I was diving toward the left-hand curb. You having fun?
When we get back inside, shall we play hide and seek?
If you want.
With you.
Oh.
I can hide and you can count.
Okay, no problem.
Spin, spin, spin. We going to spin, spin.
Right then, are we ready?
Yeah. Is this the belt?
Yes. You ready?
Is this the belt of the boat?
Yes.
That's the belt and the boat. I said I want to sit on the back.
You want to sit in the back?
Yeah.
If you really want to.
Oh, wait.
Can you see all right?
I want to sit here.
You okay?
With this cushion.
Yeah, okay. You can see all right, yeah?
Monster cushion.
Hi there guys, and welcome back to the channel.